Perfect. Now let me put this away and I'll be right back. Hey guys, so today we have this old Yard Machines by MTV. It's the same one that I found in the trash that I changed the carburetor on and actually got going after finding out it was missing a spring inside there. In this video, we're going to be winterizing it, which means we're going to be draining all the fuel and making sure it's ready for winter. However, there's also one other thing we're going to be doing. Because this mower is also going for long-term storage, I'm going to be draining all the fuel and then pulling the engine from the chassis, then labeling it and hanging it up. That way it takes up less room in this place. So in this, we're going to end up pulling that engine. We'll end up going underneath and we'll check the blade on this. I never actually checked the blade on this, so I don't actually know what condition it's in. Quite likely, it's terrible. So we'll check the blade and at the same time we'll be removing it from the engine anyway. And I will be labeling everything. This way none of the parts get mixed up with another mower. Such as this engine, deck, and handlebars. And that blade and blade adapter. Anyway guys, let's get into this. Okay, so this shouldn't take too long. There's not a lot of fuel in here. So we just got to get it. Let's open it up. See if we can remove some with the syringe. Maybe not. Alright, so let me cut off a little bit of fuel line. We'll try that on the syringe. There, that should get to the bottom of it. A nice government sanctioned fuel carrying bottle, because you know everybody carries their fuel in 2-liter pop bottles or soda bottles. You know, that's just the way it is. Why does this seem more like water than gasoline? Pretty sure it's gasoline though. Yeah, it smells like gasoline. As I said, there's really not a lot in here. Oops. Guaranteed to happen at least once. Perfect. Let's cap this off. As I said, there wasn't a lot. There was already about this much in here to begin with, and so we've just not really put much more in there. So I'm just going to lift it up just a little bit. Just want to see if I can get any last little remnants, if there is any. Yeah, there's a little bit. Yeah, just a tiny bit. So now I'm just going to leave the cap open. This way any remnant fuel, it'll just evaporate and dry out in there. But I guess just so we don't get anything in there, I'm just going to put a shop towel in it, just so no debris falls in. Right, so next, I'm just going to lift this up and unbolt the blade. Alright, so that blade doesn't look terrible. Just very rusted. At least surface-wise. But it's not terrible. It's actually in a lot better shape than I thought it would be. Okay, so we're just going to remove the blade. And I believe that's a 5/8. So 5/8. Yep, that's a 5/8. And there's the blade. Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, it's just rusted and there's a couple pits in it, but this will clean up very nice. The other side here, but aside from that, no, this blade is not bad at all. This would clean up very nicely. So now that we don't lose the blade adapter, and we'll just replace that right back onto the engine. There we go. Now we'll make a tag for that blade. MTD Yard Machine's blade, and this is Trash Find Red, because this mower was a trash find. So that's going to go with this blade. Now since we're under here, let's loosen up the engine bolts. And I believe those are 1/2 inch. They are 1/2 inch. So I'm going to leave the top one. I'm just going to loosen it off first, and then we're going to leave it. Of course, this all needs to be cleaned off. I'll have to clean that off shortly with the vacuum. But we're going to loosen these off. We'll loosen this first. Just a little, just so it holds. Then we'll remove these two. That way we can lower this down so I can remove that one easily without the engine falling off. Because that would be bad. So let's make sure this one's loose. It's loose. Tighten it back up a bit. Let's remove this one. Now we'll lower the mower down. Now I'll unbolt the head, or I'll unbolt the engine. Okay, so the engine's now unbolted, and we'll be able to drain the oil. So there we go, the engine's free. Now we're going to drain out the oil. I'm just going to get the oil pan, pull the dipstick, and we'll just pour it out. All right, so let's get this oil drained out. Now do a quick inspection. Let's thin it out a bit. And do we see any sparkly bits? Do we see any sparkly bits at all? I don't think so. I'm not seeing any forbidden glitter in here, so that's good. There's no metal shavings. Right, let me drain this out. Good, replace this. Now we label the engine. Very important. Very, very important. Yeah, that's very important. So we'll just hang that here on the engine. If I can get it on. Perfect. Okay, so all that's left to do now is remove that throttle cable. So let's remove this throttle cable. Shouldn't be too bad. Compress these tabs. Always easier said than done. I know, I can hear you. Just use pliers, but... I like to be difficult sometimes, but yes, it does apply. Okay, let's try that again. I know. That made it so much easier. I get it. There, throttle cable's released. Now I can put this engine away. Right, so now we'll just get these handlebar bolts out, and I believe those are 3/8 if I recall. No, not 3/8, so they must be 1/2 inch. Okay, maybe not 1/2 inch, maybe they're 7/16. Silly me! What was I thinking, 1/2 inch? 7/16. There we go, got it out that time. Oh, a little bit at a time. It should come out a lot easier than this. Let me try using a little bit of persuasion. See if that loosens it up. Yep, it did. It didn't like getting beaten. I don't blame it. I wouldn't like getting beaten either. This side out. Yep, that side's out. There. Handlebars are off. Right, so all we have left is to hang the chassis. But I think first things first is I just got to give it a quick cleaning. So let me get the vacuum, flip it over, we'll give it a quick cleaning, then we'll hang it up. Now I just got to label the handlebars and the body. Let's flip this over and give it a quick cleaning. Yummy. Okay, so loud noise is imminent, and I'll put this on time lapse. Perfect. That's all done. Now let's just get it hung up. Well, that's it, guys. That one's all done. Packed up. I've got the labels just to write up and put on, and it's all done. So basically, to winterize a mower, you just want to get the fuel out of the gas tank and let it air dry for a bit. This way there's no fuel left in. Now come spring, we'll get this engine back on that body, but first we'll probably give it a good pressure washing and a good cleaning, get oil into this, and I'll get that blade sharpened, installed, and we're good to go. Which reminds me, I should put the blade over by this engine. So there we go. Blades with the engine. Store it here until the new year. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one.